So let's take a look.
All right, and first up we have Mitchell. He's from Puerto Rico, and his favorite card is Diviner of the Herald. Maybe a little sneak peek at what deck he might be playing here this weekend.
New one, but a good one, that one. And he'll be facing off against Timothy M. from Washington, D.C., whose favorite card is Cyber Dragon. Really a game definer right there. Good stuff, Cyber Dragon.
Yeah, it really is. I remember when it was released, it really changed the game a lot, and one of my favorite GX era cards, so it's cool to see it being a favorite card here. There's actually a lot of big Cyber Dragon fans out there. I've noticed that's one of the decks a lot of players kind of continue to use throughout the format.
And it just got introduced to Speed Duel as well in the Duel Academy box not too long ago.
Yeah, it certainly did. That's definitely something we want to check out. If you want to play it with your friends, it's a really awesome product. I know I got one and really got to play with some of my friends that hadn't really played Yu-Gi-Oh! In a while and were able to catch up to speed just playing the pre-constructed decks from the Speed Duel GX Duel Academy box.
It really is, I think, the best way to share your love of Yu-Gi-Oh! And with your other gaming friends who maybe aren't into card games, that sort of thing. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it certainly is great. But now these duelists are getting ready for this final round of Swiss. A lot on the line here. It's good. It's been a long day, and we've seen a variety of decks, and we're seeing two decks here that we haven't seen yet so far. And we feel like we say that every single round so far.
And it keeps being true. And there's still one of them isn't Sword Soul.
Unfortunately, for all the Sword Soul fans, including myself out there, we weren't able to get any on the feature match today. Maybe we'll see them in the top cut later on. But today we have Mitchell playing Drytron. As you saw, his favorite card is Diviner of the Herald. So, definitely going to be something cool to see if he's able to go first, maybe get access to something like Vandy's Ruler onto the field and, be able to shut the opponent out before they can really get things going. Meanwhile, on the other side, Timothy playing something we haven't seen yet either.
It looks like we actually got the points mixed up. They're on 18 points. That is 21 points. That's a 7-1 record here. So this is actually a pretty crucial match. The difference between going into day 2, 8-1 versus 7-2 is massive. There's no wiggle room if you're 7-2. Even with the expanded top 64 cut, with so many players here, you could be in trouble. So Timothy's deck is a fascinating one. This matchup, I think, is going to involve a lot of the players just throwing cards at each other. They're just playing them. They're just going to play cards.
I think you're right.
It'll be good. Nothing's going to stop them.
Yeah.
And we'll see who comes out on top between Drytron and Ignister.
Yeah, both of them very focused on getting their strategy online, turn one, going first. Not a lot of resistance can be met by either one, probably. So it's going to be the die roll is going to be huge here to see who is going to end up going first. Looks like we're ready to jump here into game 1 of our 9th round of Swiss. The dice have been rolled. It looks like
a 9 versus an 8.
That one little number might make all the difference here.
And it looks like Ignister is going to start things off.
Oh, I see a sign at mining. So Ignister definitely got a little bit of a boost and from Ghost from Past Second Haunting, getting a new Link monster, Decotalker Heat Soul, really great in a lot of cyber strategies, especially ones that use different attribute monsters. And Ignisters, that's all they are, different attributes.
That's kind of the whole thing. With Ignister Island, you can only summon each attribute once using it.
Yep, looks like he's going to grab Picari here from Sign Up Mining.
Normal summon Picari, effect to add a spell trap.
Okay. Picari's the one you want to normal summon because it's going to let you get the AI Island without having to rely on the Dark Infant. Because a lot of times if you can Veiler or Infinite Permanence the Dark Infant, you can kind of cut their strategy off. But when they start with Picari, they already have it, so there's really not much point in negating the Dark Infant. Maybe saving your effect negation for something like Splash Mage or some impactful part of their combo.
This is nice, though, because if you have 2 of them, if one of them gets popped in response to special summoning, something like that, you can just play the second one. And I've actually seen some people running Ghost Ogre here this weekend as well.
Oh yeah, it lines up really well against a lot of cards in the format for sure, like Fateful Adventure as well. But AI Michu is going to let him reveal. He's going to reveal Heat Soul, so he'll be able to add a fire attribute monster.
And that's the one that's going to search out another monster when it hits the field. Now, the key with the Ignister Island is that you can't have any monsters in your main monster zone when you're going to use it.
A Chi-Chi effect to add a monster?
Yep. So he special summons a Chi-Chi, and that's now a fire monster summoned by Island. Picks up Hiari. That is the water one.
Gonna go for a Link 2 here. As you mentioned, you have to clear that main monster zone, so you're gonna have to keep Link climbing with your Ignister monsters.
We'll activate Ignister Island. We'll summon Doyon. We'll go Chainlink.
Already
1,
have the Doyon in
Cyber's
hand.
Wicked, banishing the Dark Infinite for cost. Chainlink 2 Doyon, targeting the Pikari.
That's good.
Yep, Doran's going to add back the Vikari on summon, and when it's sent to the graveyard for the Link summon, he'll be able to special summon back an Ignister monster from the graveyard as well.
And Baru.
And then we do the Cyber's Wicked effect. Grab Boobaroo. Not Aruru, but Boobaroo.
Control an Ignister. And then we'll activate Hiari effect. I'll tribute the Cyber's Wicked to add a level 5 or higher.
Okay.
Explaining it very well as he goes.
And we'll add Gachiri at Ignister.
Gachiri, one of the really cool Ignisters, going to gives you a little more disruption during the opponent's turn.
We'll then activate Gachiri, targeting the Doyon, negating effects to special.
Good.
All right, that's 3 on the field. And that's going to get you to... He's going to go for the Templar here. There it is, the Dark Templar.
We will go Doyon, Chainlink 1, add the Imiji back to hand. Gachiri, Chainlink 2, targeting the Dark Templar.
It's an effective one, right?
Yes.
So Doyan adds back to hand.
We'll then go Ignister Island effect special.
Going to summon Baruru.
We will go Dark Templar, Chainlink 1, Baruru, Chainlink 2.
All right, and so we're going to use
We'll
Baruru
send
first
Pikari.
to send Pikari. And then Dark Templar is going to get 2 more monsters.
We'll Templar.
I mean, we kind of called it where whoever gets to go first is going to pretty much get to do their whole combo uninterrupted. Both these decks really focus on that going first kind of strategy, and definitely paying off here for Timothy.
Revive the Pikari.
So the Pegasus is going to bring back, or the Baru's effect is one when it's sent to the graveyard, he's able to bring back a monster from the graveyard, so he's going to be able to link all of his monsters away.
And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
The arrival.
For the arrival at Ignister. And that should be done with 4 attributes, I believe,
and I will burn
which will make it for
4,300
4,000.
Nice. Check your graveyard real quick.
Unaffected by the opponent's card's effects. Definitely a powerful card. A hard one to deal with when it has so much attack points.
Oop. Thank you.
And there it is. 3+ monster with different attributes. Link 6 monster. You can only have 1. And it's the number of materials used towards Link Summon, which naturally must have different attributes. The main thing here is that it's unaffected by other card effects.
Stand by main phase.
But wouldn't you know,
Mitchell has that Mystic Mine. But Timothy has
set rotation.
The 1 set rotation, definitely a powerful card. You know, it's so strong. The reason why it is limited to 1, it's going to be able to out the Mystic Mine right here.
As long as he's got...
I do not have a valid target.
Oh no! Disaster. Only having the 2 copies. He added the 2 copies of AI Island.
He only has 2, and it's why you can't just play 2.
Yep.
Oh no.
That's why you can't just play 2.
Disaster. It looked like he had a moment to actually break the Mystic Mine, but looks like he has nothing, so he's going to have to pass right back to Mitchell.
Draw phase, stand by phase.
So being unaffected by card effects as a monster doesn't make a difference if you, the player, are not allowed to take certain actions.
Yep, we'll pass 6 cards.
Draw phase, stand by phase, main phase.
And here's the thing, like, there's no way Timothy wins this one if he can't get rid of the mine. He's already so far down in deck size, and I don't think he's got anything to put those cards back in. So this one's basically a wrap.
Yeah, unless Mitchell decides to take some action at some point, which I don't think he's going to. You know, knowing the matchup, the Ignister deck's probably not playing a lot of cards that might be teched in to be spell and trap removal because, you know, it's so focused on that turn 1 explosive to get to the arrival. He's probably not going to play any cards, just keep passing back and forth until Timothy runs out of cards.
I feel like there's one of these AI cards that can take out a spell or trap. But maybe not. Maybe not. I don't think he's playing them.
We'll have to see what he's packing in his deck. Maybe he hasn't conceded yet. So a lot of times when you don't have an out, they will just instantly concede. So maybe he knows he has some sort of answer that he's looking for in his deck.
Draw phase, stand by phase.
Oh, sorry.
It's a tough one.
You know, this is where the preparation comes into play. We saw Mystic Mind dominate YCS Hartford.
I can't imagine playing nothing for it. Well, he figures he plays a set rotation for it. That's the answer to it. But only 2 islands. So if you're doing your combo and searching out double island, then you've just left yourself open to it, even if you have the 1-of. Absolutely brutal, but you know, it's a case of reaping what you sow on this one.
Oh, I wouldn't have discarded Mystic Mind. I would not have given my opponent the information.
I would not show them that.
Oh, Signet Mining.
And thin his deck out a little bit. Using Signet Mining, discards a card to add a Cyberse monster from his deck to his hand.
Only useful if you actually have something in there.
It could just be speeding up, you know, the end result of this game.
Well, there's another way to do that. That takes no time at all.
Very true. Maybe he's just hoping his opponent makes a mistake, gets a little antsy, and decides to go for it into all of these face downs.
I don't know.
I don't see it happening.
There's absolutely no reason.
Does he use it again? Okay, it decides not to use the third Signet Mining, discards it this time. Natasha being discarded, Imperm being discarded. Drytron Nova being discarded.
I suppose he's getting to see a ton of his opponent's deck. There's that. But, you know, I don't know how many extra cards you need to see after, you know, the Vanity's Ruler or the first Drytron monster to know what it is.
Yeah, just know like the little tech cards they have in the deck. Everything else will be... Alright, decides he's wasting a little bit of time. He's not going to have an out and concedes game 1.
Absolutely nothing he could do after that.
No need to apologize. You know, that's definitely a counter to a strategy like Adagnister, having something that Mr. Mind, as you mentioned, you know, affecting the player and not the card.
Yep. And, you know, that's the thing. It's the 2 islands. That's a deck building choice that he made. He cut the 1 island, and this is one of the reasons why you don't. It's not just a matter of you seeing it more often. It's if set rotation is your one way to get rid of Mystic Mind, you can't do a combo where you add both of them to your hand and then expect set rotation to get you out of it.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know if maybe this kind of situation came up earlier. Maybe that was his previous 1 loss where he needed that 3rd island in his deck and wasn't able to get there. Could have been a lesson he learned earlier, but you know, as you determine your deck list for the tournament, not something you can really deal with that. Just have to deal with what you have as you're going on. And but definitely a good, you know, a good deck choice here from Mitchell, being able to play Drytron and, you know, a deck that can explode turn 1 and, you know, summon something like we saw the Vanity's Ruler he discarded. But if you go second, you still have options like Mystic Mind. And a lot of the decks, you know, if you play against like Punk Adventure or Sword Soul or something, they do put up monsters that can negate the Mystic Mind. But something like Adagnister, they get a lot of cards and make a monster like the Arrival that's hard to deal with, but no way to actually negate Mystic Mind.
And we saw a Drytron deck quite like this the last YCS as well, so it's a known quantity.
Yeah, it did very well. It made top 4
as well. Yep. Actually, did it make to the finals? Was the finals the Sky Striker?
I think he lost to the Sky Striker in the top 4.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. So I remember watching that one kind of on the zoomed out camera.
Yeah, it was a crazy one. That event was really interesting, but we really got to see the impact of Mystic Mind if the other duelists in that tournament aren't prepared for a card like it.
And I think the same thing happened to the Drytron duelists last time around, is where set rotation was their only way to get out of it. And they had drawn the, I think it was Drytron Fafnir, the field spell.
Yeah, set rotation, yeah, great option, but if you're not able to activate it, not much you can do.
That's the thing. That is the risk of using it as a removal card instead of just another terraforming.
But now the duelists are siding. I'd imagine Timothy's going to try and go first again. I don't think you're going to want to go second against Drytron, but maybe, you know, he's definitely going to have some cards in his side deck. If he didn't include them already in his main deck, they're going to be focused on spell and trap removal. I mean, he knows he's playing against Drytron, so you don't really want to have spell and trap removal because outside of Mystic Mind, they're not going to have much in the terms of, you know, the spell and traps, but you just have to have something in your deck that can deal with that card. Otherwise, you get the result we had here in game 1.
Even if it's just for 1 turn. If you can just negate it for a turn, you're fine.
Yep, even like Harvey's Feather Duster or something like that. Just anything to deal with it, just so your opponent doesn't think they can just deck you out all the way.
Looks like the final decisions have been made here.
Yep, players are ready, and we're about to jump right in here to game 2 of our round 9 of Swiss, the final round here, day 1. the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG Championship.
All right, exact same start there. Discarding even the exact same card to Signet Mining. But oh, different result here. He's getting the
Nope.
Achichi this time.
Normal summon effective Achichi.
So he's going to be able to grab Fikari off Achichi.
Sends that away for the infant.
Effective infant.
You know, this is the scary point. Effective infant. I always want to negate the infant. You don't want to let them have access to that field spell. But here he goes to grab the Ignister Island.
Effective special.
Yeah, I get the feeling that he has. Now it'd be interesting to see. Okay, good. He didn't get the. He did not get the other island again.
Yeah, he did it this way, so he'll be able to just get the AI Michu, so he'll just be able to grab another monster. Maybe, realizing that maybe the slight mistake there from game one.
Activate Michu.
It wasn't so much a mistake, but more so playing around in Effect Veiler.
Yeah, the issue is getting the second one. Once you have the first one, you don't need the other one.
Very true. And he's going to grab Doyon at Ignister.
Effective Island special. We'll go Wicked Chainlink 1, Doyon Chainlink 2, banish this for cost, and we'll target the Achichi.
Looks like everything is going to plan so far.
Yeah, the Ad Ignister deck, it's a consistent one. If you don't have something to stop the Dark Infant, they're going to be able to get to their full combo fairly easily just off any number of their normal summons in the deck. Plus, on top, we've seen the Signet Minings to get the specific normal summon they're looking for.
Transcode Talker.
Links into Transcode Talker.
Yeah, this is neat. This is a different line to play than we saw last time.
So it's Baruru Ad Ignister from the hand.
We'll go Transcode Effect to revive.
Gets the Wicked there. And that's 3, 2, and 1. But it's still 3 materials for Dark Templar.
Land effect special. We'll go Dark Templar effect.
Templar effect activates here. Gets 2 monsters back. 2 monsters back to the graveyard for Wind Pegasus.
Effect to revive the Pikari.
Pikari comes back. Everything goes to the yard. Arrival Cybers at Ignister with 4 materials. It's 4,000.
We'll set 1 card and we'll pass turn.
Sets a card face down. Now that looked, it looked a little green.
I don't burn for this one.
I didn't catch it.
Draw face.
It looked a little green. I think that might be Magic Deflector.
Ooh, that's one of my favorites. I used to love that card against Cosmos.
It's like equip spells, field spells, quick play spells. Rituals, I think, as well. It's everything but normal spells.
It's a cool one. It's really good in this format because, quick launch, emergency teleport, you can straight up chain it to those kind of cards and negate the effects when they resolve. Plus, Mystic Mind's a big one you'll be able to turn off with that Magic Deflector.
All right, no Mystic Mind this time. It's Drytron cards, and Mitchell, too, is off to the races. He's gotten to Ben 10 here.
He treated Draconids, it looks like.
It's just a matter of can he do anything about this 4,000 attack monster.
That's fine.
And he's definitely going to have to find a way. The arrival is just really, really difficult to deal with. Anytime a monster with a lot of attacks unaffected by your card effects, we saw Mystic Mind be able to deal with it, but outside of stuff like that, it can be quite difficult.
This one? Zeta.
Yep, so you use Zeta's effect to tribute Ben 10. So now Zeta's going to add a ritual spell from his deck to hand, and after that, on a new chain, Cyber Angel Ben 10 is going to activate to add a fairy. He added Meteonis Drytron with the Zeta effect.
Oh, it doesn't block rituals. It's just equip, field, continuous, and quick plays for Magic Deflector. So a ritual spell could go through.
Effective Diviner is okay.
Diviner the Herald, when it's normal summoned, he's going to be able to send a Herald of Arclight from his extra to the graveyard, then be able to add a ritual monster or a ritual spell from the deck to the hand.
That is fine.
It also gains the levels, so Diviner is going to now be a level 6
right.
tuner.
Yes, 4,000.
Interesting. What could he have here? He's got to get bigger than it, right? So.
Oh, there's a good way to do it. Cyber Angel Edatin.
Edatin can make things bigger. Could you Boral Sword and gain the attack points?
Ooh, maybe.
Effect.
Looks like he's going to overlay the Zeta, and I think that's the Alpha for Mu Beta Fafnir.
Mari negate.
He's going to banish Denmari from the graveyard to negate the Fafnir's effect.
All right, that keeps the Drytron name out of the graveyard. All the Drytrons are on the field now. It's going to go Mediona's Drytron.
It looks like
he's reading it. It is.
Because you think Magic the Flagrant stops all the other
yes,
non-normal
everything
spells.
else, but it's
How many
not.
cards in hand?
Not the rituals.
Rituals still work.
We'll chain Nibiru.
Yeah. Read in real quick.
Yep.
Yes. Now Nibiru is unaffected by card effects. Sorry, not Nibiru. Arrival Cyberse is unaffected by card effects. So it's going to be everything but the Arrival.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool way you can use that in Attic Mister. Even going second, Nibiru is not going to clear your board, but also destroy all your opponents.
Go next.
And yep, no machine type monsters, can't tribute anything, don't have anything left. We just go next.
This is kind of how you pretty much called our game. Both the players kind of just throwing all their cards at
They're
each
just
other.
throwing them. And that's fun. It's a lot of fun sometimes to just fling all your cards on the board and just see who wins.
Yep, certainly. But, we saw Timothy go first in these first 2 games, and now Game 3 is coming up. Mitchell's finally going to get a chance to go first. We're going to see what his Drytron strategy is going to be able to do without having to face down, the Arrival plus, a graveyard full of Attic Misters.
It's the perfect late night Yu-Gi-Oh! Just start flinging stuff. Yeah, I'm going to play this, I'm going to play this, I'm going to play this. Attack, attack, attack.
Both these decks kind of do that, yeah. We'll have to see what he opens up with. I'm excited. It's cool that they've kind of gone back to the Vanity Ruler. It was something that was really popular in Drytron, at the beginning of our remote duel era, and now to see it being used again, because Drytron really fell off after the Bin 10 limitation, and losing Ava was a big deal. It really changed the way they play. They can't really rely on Beatrice to really carry a lot of the weight, or the Herald of Orange Light, discard Ava, then grab another copy of Herald of Orange Light and Diviner from their deck. So now they're more focused on, Mystic Mind breaking the boards, going first, summoning something like Vanity's Ruler, while still being, the consistent ritual strategy that Drytron has been since its release.
Yeah, I'm happy for Vanity's Ruler. After all those years of playing second fiddle to Vanity's Fiend, the Ruler is finally on top.
Finally, yeah. Being a fairy makes a huge difference.
Yep.
And it also stops only your opponent from special summoning, not you.
Exactly. It's nice. It's a great card.
It really is. Now, this is going to be the final game of the day here at Swiss Round 9. One of these players will be moving on to day 2 with an X1 record. The other one, X2, you mentioned going into day 2. It's a lot easier to sleep at night knowing you only have to win 1 round tomorrow to guarantee your spot in that top 64. But you're at least going to be happy you're coming back for tomorrow, but it's going to be a little stressful because just one more loss, you'll pretty much be eliminated from the tournament.
It's tough. That first one the next day is always the hardest round because, you're still half asleep. Hopefully you got some food in you, but what happens at these events sometimes is all of the places where you can get food in the morning are just swamped.
Yep.
So, are you going to get food before they run out? Who knows?
Yeah, I've definitely dealt with that in my past tournament experiences, but there's a lot more to the game. You want to make sure you're well hydrated, get well rested, and make sure you're in the best mental state ready because you got to be focused for these games. There's a lot of intricacies.
And that goes for you at home as well.
Definitely. At least we know Mitchell isn't stressed.
Nope, he's fine.
He doesn't look stressed. He looks very focused. I believe his shirt.
We're asking questions here that are already answered by the shirt, so we're fine.
Yeah, for being the last round, he looks both players actually seem very calm with so much riding on the line.
I will say this though, everything's been pretty well prepared here at the convention center. I thought for sure when I went in to get a breakfast sandwich that they were going to be out. Nope, we got everything. We're good.
Yep, I was able to go on we had the lunch break earlier too. It's really nice for our players, able to go and get some food in them in the middle of the day. It's a huge benefit. I love having that little lunch break in the right after that round 3. But speaking of the number 3, we are jumping right into game 3 of our last round of Swiss here today at the championship in Rosemont, Illinois.
Here it comes. It's Drytron Fafnir starting things off. I feel like I don't really see that card activated very often.
Yeah, not too much. I mean, they're probably playing. He also probably has his own copies that like set rotation as well, since he is packing Mystic Mind. But able to get to that Drytron Nova. Nova's really cool because not only it gets you a monster on the board, so you're getting access to a name. You're going to be able to turn that into a Link Karibo, so you're going to be able to use a Link Karibo later on in your combo while putting that Drytron name in your graveyard. Looks like he grabs Zeta, and then he's going to tribute the Zeta off the field for Alpha. Doesn't need to link it away. But we do see a Troll and Lockbird.
Yeah, that's the one that's going to get ashed. Ash Alpha, not always.
Oh, here we go.
That's the thing, though, like the Droll and Lockbird, you want to catch them on like Alpha Tribute thing. But because he tributed off the Zeta for the Alpha, the Ash is a lot more powerful there. That's regular preparation, right?
Tribute.
It gets you a 7 or lower. All right, so
Activate the Droll and Lockbird on the bin 10.
Ben 10 hasn't activated yet.
Oh no, he added Preparation and Rice to add the bin 10.
Right, but he's going to get him on the Ben 10 here because it gets the Ben 10 out of his hand.
Oh, he wants to. I see. He's waiting to let him get the Medionis. But now he has Medionis where he's able to summon back the bin 10. But yeah, I can see a little bit getting the bin 10 out of the hand. Just holding off on the draw to let him invest a little more resources into the game.
Yeah. He's getting the Ben 10 back is a lot worse now that he doesn't have any more searches for the rest of the turn.
Very true. Yeah, I don't think it was a mistake that he didn't activate the Droll and Lockbird. It was definitely a choice.
Normal effect.
Goes with Diviner of the Herald.
The effect, thinking.
This is a ton of interaction. Like compared to the first 2 duels, we've already seen Ash, we've seen Droll, we've seen Effect Veiler.
I think he also has a Nibiru in his hand as well.
Nibiru?
I think he does also on top of all that. So maybe he sided into a lot of these going second kind of cards, or maybe he was main decking them all along. I mean, we know how Nibiru, we saw how good it is in that game too. He's able to use it despite having the arrival on the board. But
and the other was Infinite Impermanence.
5 interactions.
5 interactions, and he just drew Mystic Mine.
That anti-spell fragrance is going to be life-saving here for Mitchell.
Absolutely saves him.
Draw face. On my face.
Oh, wow.
This game playing out completely different than the first 2 games.
5 interactions and a Mystic Mine off the top. Wow.
He's going to tribute Zeta to summon Alpha from the hand. No responses here from Timothy. Mitchell taking a moment to sit up. He knows that if he plays this right, he could potentially win the game here this turn. If I was Mitchell, I wouldn't expect any more interaction. I wouldn't think he would have another card that would do something.
I'm not expecting the Imperm at all, which is why it'll be a little more effective.
Benton effect?
Benton is fine.
It actually paid off that he didn't set the Imperm in like the
the anti-spill column.
Because then
I was just thinking about that because it telegraphs it immediately.
Yep. And then if he was going to be forced to use the Imperm, he doesn't want to turn off the anti-spell during Mitchell's turn.
Exactly. Exactly. This is a really smart game. This one.
Overlays Alpha and Zeta for Drytron Mu Beta Fafnir.
This time it's successful.
Probably going to send down Drytron Gamma unless he already has access to it. Gamma, my favorite Drytron.
Freeze play! Freeze play! Championship competitors, that is time to
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I do apologize.
At this time, please continue to the end of the current phase. Then proceed with the end of match.
Flips Medionis Drytron.
Smart setting it, knowing he has the anti-spell and he's still going to have to activate it. Yeah, the anti-spell is going to stop him from being able to add back that Medionis Drytron and be able to use it again. But he just has the Vanity's Ruler.
He tribute summons the Vanity's Ruler.
Wow.
All right. So, Well, now we know what the
Income on
imperm
advantage.
has to be used.
Benton effect?
Ben 10 frames.
Ben 10 is fine. It's had, what, 1, 2, 3, 4? Is that his fifth?
It's his fifth.
That's his fifth summon.
I know if, yeah, the imperm kind of telegraphs that he has Nibiru in his hand.
That's me, though.
How crazy would it be if this Nibiru gets him back into this game?
I mean,
Benton, right?
Yes.
He still has to deal with the anti-spell. He's not going to be able to really get access to the island, but
yeah, that's the tough part is, okay, you get rid of the board, but then what?
looks like with
The mine's no good against one token versus one Nibiru.
definitely not.
And the anti-spell is still there.
He grabs Natasha off the Benton effect.
End of main.
Benton only has to be tributed, whether it's for a ritual or a tribute summon.
Or some.
This is the fifth. You went Alpha, Zeta, Fafnir, Benton, Vanities is the fifth.
Alpha was not on the field?
Alpha was
No,
not
he
on the
tributed,
field.
off the field
He
from
summoned
hand.
it from his hand because it was negated by Ash Blossom on the previous turn.
Yeah, this was the fifth summon.
It is indeed the fifth summon. We already counted it ourselves.
Because you went Alpha tribute the Zeta on field from hand.
I went
And then
Alpha,
you
the Zeta,
added the Benton. You went
and then
Zeta,
the
tribute the,
I
tribute the
added
Benton. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So he summoned both of the level 1s, and the Ritual Monster,
Yes.
and the Mu Beta Fafnir, and the Vanities Ruler. Because the trick was the Alpha was still stuck in his hand from the turn before when it was negated by Ash.
So yeah, it was a huge play by him using that Ash, despite having the draw and Lockbird already, choosing to keep that Alpha in hand, knowing he might need that Nibiru on the following turn. Just next level plays coming from Timothy.
Yeah,
here.
and I could see where the confusion is, because like Mitchell knows that he activated Alpha, right? So if I activated Alpha, then, well, yeah, of course I must have summoned Alpha. And that's another one of the dangers of dueling late at night, is that sometimes these things can escape your memory a little bit.
It's
So
been a long. This is the last round.
it's
It's
a
been a
lot.
long day.
It's a lot, and this particular game is of such a totally different tenor than the last two that switching gears to play this very interactive game versus the ones where you're just flinging cards, it could be really tough, especially once you get down to the last game, last round, middle of the night. It's tough. So it's really easy to see, how you can forget how many summons you had. And if you thought you started with one on board, well, there you go. That's how you get the situation that we have right now. But I am confident that they'll be able to unravel this thing,
Yeah.
get it all sorted out.
I mean, Timothy could just easily explaining each summon that happened. I'm surprised they weren't able just to be like, yeah, this is the fifth summon. It was pretty. We were able to tell right from the get-go, but maybe it takes a few times.
It's the Alpha being ashed and staying in hand that's causing the confusion there.
Oh, that's right.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, but I'm sure we'll get this resolved very quickly. This is the last round. It's been a long day, a fantastic day. Like every round has just been
It really has.
Even
right?
the rounds I wasn't on, I was watching from the sideline. I was jealous almost. I was like, I wanted to commentate these rounds because they were so cool. Seeing the Leerless Tri-Brigade match from the last round was really awesome.
And I missed that Punk one with the Amazing Dragon. I would have loved to see that in person.
Oh yeah, with the Gizmek, that was really cool. I've always been trying to work on that pure Punk deck, and I was looking for like a level 8 monster that could really stick on the field during my opponent's turn. The Gizmek is perfect.
Gizmek's a great one.
And especially when you're playing a deck with, the Punk combo where you're able to go in that Chaos Ruler into the Zombie Vampire, you're going to be milling 9 cards. Chances are you're going to send one of those Orochis into that graveyard. And then all you have to do is get the Punk monster that lets you tune Synchro during your opponent's turn, and then you're set up.
Good stuff. I'd love to see some Gizmeks, though. Gizmeks are so cool, especially Orochi. Orochi's been like an all-star for a long time, even back in, they still played it in Orchest. It was out at the same time as Orchest, right?
Yeah, it's a Dark Machine. You can just summon to the field. Yeah, you can send, you can summon it, and then able to summon it during your opponent's turn, banishing the 8, and then you can have a destruction effect at the start of your turn by banishing the 3 cards from your extra deck if you want. But just kind of one of those cards that just keeps on coming back as long as you have cards in your deck that you can keep on banishing.
Huge in Gren Meiju as well. I think that's probably really where it had the greatest impact, was in that deck, helping to banish a ton of cards and clear the path at the same time.
Yeah, I've definitely faced a few of those in Master Duel.
There is an awful lot of them. Yeah, Master Duel has been, Master Duel's really interesting to me. Just the dynamics, the different dynamic between best of 1 and best of 3.
It really changes a lot. It changes your main deck. It changes the decks that are good. It's really, really...
I think there's a lot of value in playing best of 1 to help you build your best of 3 decks for game 1s. Like to come up with the best game 1 deck you possibly can. I think there's a lot of value and playing those best ones, seeing the kind of mix of cards that you need so that you can go first or go second against a wide variety of decks. And you can take some of those lessons back to the physical game as well.
So
Not all of them, but quite a lot of them.
So, Gamma.
Gamma tribute, yep.
All right, looks like we're jumping back in the game. They realized exactly what we knew all along. There was 5 summons, but Mitchell's turn is not over.
One is on.
Yeah.
So he's going to use that Gamma to summon back in the graveyard, going to bring back Zeta, and now he can go into a Symbol Nightingale.
Ah,
Okay,
Just attack directly twice,
800.
okay.
so 1,600 points total after the 2 attacks. And now that's an Xyz monster who attacked, so we know what's coming next. A card we haven't seen today yet, I don't believe.
the big one. He's thinking about it. He's looking for it.
Maybe he's thinking about going to Symbol Nightingale pass.
I don't know how viable that is.
Goes into Downer.
There, Downard first, and then Divine Arsenal, AA Zeus. First time all weekend, with 4 materials too. Now that's a bit of a double edged sword here.
Time to activate Mystic Mine.
Flips over Mystic Mind. It's going to prompt immediate chain here from Zeus.
So he's got to use it.
Still has one more go at the
What's
Zeus
the
effect.
last one? Oh no, he can't play it. So
It's
silent
Silent Mining.
mining.
He has no other cards in hand to discard. Mitchell's
if
graveyard
he
full of
lives-
Drytron.
If he lives here, because I don't think he has any way to get those Drytrons back out,
No, nothing to tribute. Just going to have to take the attack direct for 3,000.
because they're stuck beneath that Zeus.
Pass.
2 cards face down, stand by. Another anti-spell fragrance!
Devastating.
Oh my goodness!
Devastating.
Oh my goodness. He's got 4,200 life points left.
Does he draw? He just needs any monster to tribute for a Drytron from his graveyard.
All the Drytrons come out in defense, so he's got to do something with it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can just get the Alpha on the field, Alpha get him to bin 10, and then be able to summon.
Yeah, if he can get to another Mu Beta, then he's fine.
I feel like how long he's thinking about it's not so obvious for him. Maybe he's contemplating using Zeus effect.
I'll take
Doesn't
12.
have it. Going to take for 3,000. Goes down to 1,200 life points.
I kind of think this is the safe route here,
Pass.
because you know that last card is not another Mystic Mine.
Stand by main phase. Silent
So
Mining.
he gets to use Silent Mining finally, but with that anti-spell face up, he's not going to be able to use AI Island.
$1,200.
Sorry.
Yep.
Normal summon a 2/2 effect to add a monster.
Normal summon. Yeah, that's good.
I think that's going to be fine. So the one thing I'm thinking about is Lingaribo.
Ooh, Link Karibo to like stop one of the traps maybe you could have
Yeah.
set.
So like, if you get a monster here, and the other card you have is Island, and you negate the anti-spell for a turn, I mean, you're still going to get Zeused.
But at least, I mean, he's at 1,200. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
things aren't looking good.
I'm struggling to come up with something that gets past this Zeus.
Can you read that?
It's the water one. We're going to
Dark
link
Infant?
out for Dark Infant.
Yep.
Dark Infant activates, grabs Ignister Island.
Timothy not quite giving up just yet.
He's probably knows something that we don't here. That or he's just trying to bait that Zeus out.
I mean, I see a
Effect special.
couple spells in his hand.
He's got to be trying to bait the Zeus. I don't know that there's, because you have to use it at some point, right? Because if he gets to Arrival, that can just fight the Zeus.
We'll go Splash Mage effect.
I'm assuming, yeah, I assumed he had a droplets he's been holding on this whole time.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, all right. So Splash Mage is halved and negated.
I think this is going to be the end. Yeah, just an attack over Splash Mage will do it.
Yeah, and that droplet was set before the anti-spell was active, so that's fine.
If he had a couple turns there where I was down, yeah.
Zeus effect.
Interesting to see Jesus effect here.
Just Zeus in it.
Yeah, GG's.
Yeah, but that's going to be
That
enough.
does it.
Mitchell is going to win this round. 3 epic games. The first 2 kind of were similar, but this last one was a nail biter.
That was, it was really a roller coaster. It was high on one side, low, and goes back the other way, and then that last